So this is a pretty big question. What restaurants are covered by the Fair Labor Standards Act? Well, it's really a two-piece type of situation. And it's either you meet one or both. And in some instances, if your restaurant's a big chain restaurant, chances are you're going to meet the threshold and, of course, one of these components. But at a bare minimum, I can't see many restaurants not meeting at least one of these. So the first component is if your restaurant makes at least $500,000 in annual gross sales. So in other words, when a patron comes to your restaurant and sits down and orders a meal, and that meal is $14.95, that's considered gross sales. So in other words, it's looking at, hey, how many sales came in and did it measure up to at least 500,000 in annual gross sales? If that's a yes, then you must comply with the Fair Labor Standards Act. Now, let's say you're a small restaurant. Let's say you only have one employee, which is yourself, and or you have two other people working with you. And let's just say your restaurant only brings in $300,000 a year. Well, the other component is handling goods or transactions for interstate commerce. So pretty much anybody in the world is having to handle this in some way, shape, or form, especially in the United States. So basically, if you're handling credit cards, if you're calling, emailing, or mailing any sort of correspondence across state lines. So, in other words, if you pick up the phone and call somebody and say, hey, I need this produce delivered to me, or hey, I need this particular seafood or this particular meat that's produced in another state shipped to me, or if you're handling emails and sending correspondence, or if you're sending a payment for a bill across state lines to pay for something, you are handling goods or transactions for interstate commerce. But the biggest thing is credit cards. Everybody in the world is paying with credit cards, including me when I go to a restaurant. So if you're handling credit card transactions inside of your business, you are, of course, handling interstate transactions for interstate commerce, and you must comply with the Fair Labor Standards Act.